Scenario number 1, rude clergy. You receive a phone call from the front door officer requesting that you come and speak with a faith community leader waiting in the lobby. You don't recognize the name of this professional visitor. Apparently the person had reacted quite rudely when told that professional visitors can't drop off money for clients. The officer states that her red flags are going up over this one. What would you do in this situation, and why? Let me tell you what I did in this situation. I thanked the officer for her call and said that I'd be right over. I first made my way directly to her in the front door module, entered and talked privately with the officer. She told me how the person had acted rudely and argumentatively with a certain sense of entitlement. I assured the officer that she had done the right thing and did not deserve the rude behavior. I then went out into the lobby, introduced myself to the professional visitor, and listened to their story. I explained how things work in a detention center and about our security concerns. I also explained that the officer was just doing her job. The visitor said that they understood, but clearly left annoyed. Here are some guidelines I used for responding to scenario number 1, rude clergy. I have 3 guidelines, general guidelines. The first guideline is, this is God's work. And a subset of that is, watch your attitude. Remember, you're doing God's work. It's tempting to respond in kind to rude, angry behavior, but this usually stirs the pot and accomplishes nothing positive. It could actually become a health and safety issue if the person starts acting out right there in the lobby. Using the de-escalation technique of talking a bit quieter and slower than the person is remarkably successful. With over 6 years experience at Sears Credit Central in Ottawa on the phone, interacting with many dissatisfied customers, I have often seen anger and rudeness turn to smiles and thankfulness by the end of the conversation. Most people just want to be heard and understood and have the situation explained in a reasonable way. Also, we had no idea what the professional visitor had been through that day. Without the full picture, it's easy to write someone off. Watching my attitude with a stranger and demonstrating love could open up doors for future networking possibilities. The second guideline is know your institution, and a subset of that, knowing your institution, is know the rules and the procedures. And number 1 actually is health and safety first. That you've got to know that in your institution, what's safe, what's healthy for you. And the third one is what caused this is that professional visitors and volunteers are not allowed to drop money off for clients. The front door officer was right to ask who this person was and why was this money really being dropped off. Historically, professional visitors and volunteers have at times been convinced by clients to bring in money for any number of reasons, but have unwittingly become involved in paying off drug or canteen debts. If allowed to drop off money, they could be putting themselves or others inside and outside of the institution at risk should at a later date they refuse to do further transactions. Serious harm or death can be the result. The third major guideline is there is a long memory in corrections. So subset of that is build your rapport with staff. Though this faith community leader was not one of my professional visitors, it's important to note here that there is a long memory in corrections. Any person under your supervision must be careful with their attitude and conduct towards correctional officers and other institutional staff members. On a daily basis, officers are subjected to various forms of abuse. If a person is curt, in your face, or argumentative with officers from a misplaced sense of entitlement, it just doesn't work. Red flags go up all over the place and they will be reported to the chaplain. That person is shooting themselves in the foot, so to speak, for future ministry. As well, their actions could very well jeopardize the long-term effectiveness of their volunteer group or organization. Another guideline, another part of that guideline that there's a long memory in corrections is watch for any opportunity to affirm staff. By an immediate response to a perceived problem, a chaplain shows that they understand and support the work that correctional officers do. It's important to watch for any opportunity to affirm staff. The front door officer plays a key role in monitoring the exchange of money for clients. Patterns and abnormalities can indicate that muscling and drug trafficking are present in a particular living area. Another subset of that guideline is keep those under your supervision away from controversy. Dropping off money for clients is a quick way to have a professional visitor or volunteer barred from coming into the institution. It's important to train those under your supervision and train them well so as to ensure long and productive years of ministry. I'd like to just add one related discussion point. Well, what if a correctional officer or staff member is rude with you as a chaplain, or with one of your volunteers or placement students? What do you do then?